Some footballers wear masks for celebrations, and some because of injuries. From Kylian Mbappe to Paulo Maldini, these are 10 iconic football players to have worn a mask. Starting at number 1 is Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe, the captain of the French national team, became an iconic figure at Euro 2024, not just for his incredible skills on the pitch, but also for wearing a protective mask. Mbappe was forced to wear the mask after suffering a broken nose in France's opening match against Austria. During a fierce encounter, he collided with Austrian defender Kevin Danso's shoulder, resulting in a serious facial injury. Bloodied and in pain, Mbappe had to leave the stadium in an ambulance, sparking concerns about his participation in the rest of the tournament. Fortunately, further examination revealed that surgery wasn't needed, and Mbappe returned to training just 2 days later with a specially designed face mask in the French colours. Despite his discomfort wearing the mask, he bravely decided to play through the pain. Mbappe donned the mask in the round of 16 against Belgium and the quarter-final against Portugal. His dedication paid off, as he managed to score a penalty against Poland in the group stages, even while wearing the mask. However, due to UEFA rules about equipment colours, he couldn't wear the original blue-white-red mask, which had to be changed to comply with regulations. Now, number 2, Petr Osimhen. Although unlike Mbappe, who wore a mask only for a short while, Petr Osimhen has been wearing a mask for a long time. Osimhen first started wearing a protective mask after suffering a serious injury during a Serie A match against Inter Milan on November 22, 2021. The injury involved a fractured eye socket and cheekbone, which required surgery. Osimhen was out of action for 3 months as he recovered from this painful facial injury. Osimhen returned to the field on January 17, 2022, wearing a specially designed protective mask to shield his face from any further damage. While most players would eventually ditch the mask after recovering, Osimhen continues to wear it even after being declared fit to play. According to Napoli's team doctor, Roberto Roggiero, the mask gives Osimhen a sense of security and balance on the field. Since wearing the mask, Osimhen's performances have been nothing short of spectacular. He has made countless appearances, scored lots of goals, and won Napoli the first league title in 33 years. Let's talk about another forward who has worn a mask. This time, someone from the Premier League. 3. Heung Min. Heung Min, Tottenham forward and captain, also wore a mask for a while. During the 2022 Qatar World Cup, Son was seen wearing a black protective mask while playing for South Korea. This wasn't just a fashion statement. Son had suffered a serious injury during a Champions League match against Marseille on November 1, 2022, when he collided with Chancel Mbemba's shoulder, fracturing the area around his left eye. The injury was severe enough to require surgery, and there was concerns that he might miss the World Cup. However, Son was determined to represent his country. Just 3 weeks after the surgery, he was back with his teammates, ready to play. He wore the mask to protect his face from any further injury, ensuring he could safely compete. The mask became his iconic symbol throughout the tournament, showing his grit and dedication to his country. His manager, Paulo Bento, even kept the details about his fitness under wraps, emphasizing that Son's presence on the field was crucial. Son's commitment and bravery inspired many fans, and he did not let them down, playing through the injury and leading his team with passion. Like Son, his former teammate Harry Kane also wore a face mask after breaking his nose. 4. Harry Kane. The former Tottenham striker had to wear a protective mask during a crucial North London derby against Arsenal in March 2016. Kane's injury occurred during an FA Cup match against Crystal Palace, where he suffered a broken nose. Unlike other players who often wore black masks, Kane's choice of a clear mask gave him a distinct and memorable look on the field. This unique appearance led to some teasing and mockery on social media, with fans poking fun at his unusual look during the first half of the tense match. Even though wearing the mask was meant to protect him, it posed challenges for Kane. Tottenham's manager at the time, Mauricio Pochettino, expressed concerns that the mask could impact Kane's performance, especially given his need to be sharp and creative in attack. However, Kane proved any doubters wrong. In the second half, he scored a stunning goal against Arsenal, curling the ball past goalkeeper David Ospina. In celebration, he dramatically ripped off the mask, showing that nothing could hold him back. Kane's goal remains a memorable moment in Premier League history. Next on the list is John Terry. 5. John Terry. Former Chelsea captain and England international John Terry is another iconic player to have worn a mask. In 2007, Terry was forced to wear a protective mask after a serious injury during a West London derby against Fulham. In true Terry style, known for his toughness and determination, he continued to play despite fracturing his cheekbone in the 3rd minute of the match. Rather than seek immediate treatment, he pushed through the pain until half-time. The mask became a symbol of Terry's warrior-like mentality, protecting his injured cheekbone while allowing him to stay in the game for Chelsea. Despite the mask covering part of his face, Terry remained as fearless as ever. He was still heading the ball, making crucial tackles and organising his defence. His courage and willingness to play through injury were qualities that made him a legend at Chelsea. We've talked about a legendary defender. Now let's talk about an attacking legend. 6. Robert Lewandowski. Robert Lewandowski is another iconic footballer who had to wear a protective mask on the field. Back in May 2015, Lewandowski, the Polish striker for Bayern Munich, suffered a broken cheekbone and a fractured nose during a German Cup match against Borussia Dortmund. Despite these painful injuries, Lewandowski showed his incredible toughness and determination to stay in the game. Just days after the incident, he was seen training with a special protective mask, hoping to be fit enough for Bayern's crucial Champions League clash against Barcelona. Wearing the mask was not just for protection, it was a challenge for Lewandowski to adjust his playing style. Bayern's defender Jerome Boateng noted that Lewandowski still looked impressive during training sessions, adapting quickly to the mask's restrictions. It was a lot of work. He had to modify how he approached the ball, moved on the pitch, and even how he controlled it. Bayern Munich's manager at the time, Pep Guardiola, was desperate for Lewandowski to play, especially since another key attacker was unavailable. Next on the list is Josko Guardiol. 7. Josko Guardiol. Man City's Josko Guardiol is another footballer who made headlines by wearing a mask. In the 2022 FIFA World Cup held in Qatar, Guardiol wore a protective mask during the tournament. This was due to an injury he sustained earlier in the season while playing for Leipzig. The injury was significant enough that medical staff recommended he wear a mask to protect his face and ensure his recovery while still allowing him to participate in high-stakes games. The mask helped shield his injured facial bones from further impact, which was crucial for his performance in such a competitive tournament. Despite the discomfort and challenge of adapting to the mask, it was clear that Guardiol was dedicated to his team. Now let's switch things up and talk about a defender from the older generation. 8. Paulo Maldini. Paulo Maldini, one of the best defenders to ever play the game, also wore a mask. In 2003, Maldini, the legendary captain of AC Milan, became known as Il Mascherato, or the Masked One, after breaking his nose in a heated Milan derby against Inter. The injury occurred during a fierce match, forcing Maldini to spend a couple of weeks recovering off the pitch. Despite the setback, he made his comeback in AC Milan's Champions League quarter-final against Ajax, sporting the mask. Although the mask may have looked unusual on such a stylish player, it proved at least that Maldini would stop at nothing to help his team, even if it meant wearing a mask. Now let's talk about an iconic goalkeeper who wore a mask. 9. Petr Cech. There's no doubt about it, Petr Cech is the most iconic goalkeeper to have ever worn a mask. His story with the mask began after a horrific injury during a league match against Reading in October 2006. Cech was involved in a violent collision with Reading midfielder Stephen Hunt. Hunt's knee struck Cech's head with such force that doctors later compared it to a car crash. The impact caused severe damage, including a fractured skull, which required surgery to fix. The injury was so serious that Cech was expected to miss the rest of the season. However, he made an incredible comeback just 3 months later, wearing a distinctive protective helmet. Cech's helmet soon became his trademark. It wasn't about fear, but about protecting himself, given his slightly thinner skull compared to the average person. His choice to wear the mask showed his dedication to playing while ensuring his safety, and that contributes to why he's a legend. And yes, our final player on the list, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. 10. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Aubameyang not only wore a mask for injuries, he also wore it for celebrations. In September 2022, the Gabonese striker made headlines not just for his footballing skills, but for his unique approach to celebrations. Aubameyang, who had joined Chelsea, was recovering from a severe injury after a break-in at his home. During this traumatic event, he suffered a broken jaw from an iron bar used by the robbers. To protect his injury, he wore a specially designed mask during his training sessions and matches, which became a distinctive part of his look. However, Aubameyang's use of masks wasn't limited to injuries. Before this, he was famous for celebrating goals by donning various Marvel superhero masks. These masks were not just for show, but added a playful and memorable touch to his goal celebrations, from Spider-Man to Black Panther. Aubameyang's choice of masks reflected his fun personality and love for comic book heroes, making his celebration some of the most entertaining in football. And that's it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, click that subscribe button and check out more videos.